Okay, so tonight we are looking at stocks to buy and hold for retirement. And the reason that we are doing this is that many people have been reaching out to me because a significant part of my audience are people in their 40s and people who are already looking at retirement. Retirement is staring them in the face and they have not prepared for it. And then I even have a couple of 60-year-olds like myself, who said that they have worked all their lives and then they look behind them and there is nothing to show for it. There are also a lot of people in their 30s who also have this same question. How do we prepare for retirement? And if we're investing in the financial markets, what kind of stocks do we pick that can help us to plan for our retirement? And then truly, this is a very important subject because for many people, life just keeps happening. And then they find themselves and their retirement age, and they have not prepared for it. And then it's a journey that all of us literally must go. So it makes sense that we prepare for retirement. And then a lot of people think that retirement is a far away thing. Some people in their late 20s or in their 30s, when you talk about retirement, they look at it like a far away thing. But it's not as far away as you think. And usually, I encourage my clients that once you start working, you're 25, you're 26, start planning for retirement. And it actually becomes easier if you start earlier than if you leave it until you are in the 50s before you can do that. And then because life keeps happening, so if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a system, it's going to be very difficult. Because many of us just woke up and then found ourselves as 50-year-olds. Does anybody here know what I'm talking about? You just woke up one day and it's your 50th birthday. Woke up and then boom, you were 55. Just like I woke up last 2 months ago and I was 59. And it's easy to ask, where did all the years go? Especially when you didn't plan for them. You say, where did all the years go? And in fact, one of the most important preparations for retirement is the way that you use your time daily and also your daily habits. And what I've used to help myself is to develop this retirement wealth building system. So if you're 20, you probably have some 40 years to go. If you are 30, you probably have 30 years to do this. And so if you have a system, can you imagine the power of having a system that you can run for 30 years, for 40 years? That is just very, very powerful in preparing for your retirement. And as I meet with people, sometimes colleagues of mine who had worked in Shell or people who had worked in very big companies, many people have made very good decisions. I find people who have made very good decisions. They are retired, but they have very, very healthy cash flow, which isn't even affected by the devaluation or inflation or whatever is happening. They have very, very good cash flow. They have cash flow mostly from their investment because depending on your pension alone isn't very helpful because often your pension is subject to all this inflation and then devaluation. So if you were getting a pension of 500,000 naira a month 5 years ago, that 500,000 naira of 5 years ago is probably like 50,000 naira or something, of today. But not so with investment. If you really have very, very carefully chosen portfolio, you can actually outsmart inflation. You can outsmart many things. Now, the other reason that you need to start planning for your retirement before you even hit 40 or 50 is that many times as people grow older, they do experience health challenges. And you might experience a health challenge that might require you to go to these amazing medical facilities in Thailand, or go to be treated in in Dubai, or go to be treated in India and all that. All those things cost money. And when people have very concerning health system in their retirement, you're in your 60s and 70s, and then something hits your health and you didn't have a plan for it, it's going to be very difficult. The other thing is that in our part of the world, in Africa, people tend to look at their children, their growing children, as their retirement strategy. So imagine the man, in the village who I asked, okay, what's your retirement plan? What are you planning? How are you planning to fund the rest of your life? The rest of your, let's say, inactive life. And he pointed to his children, many children he had there, and said, these are my retirement plans. So children should honor their parents. Children should honor their parents and make sure that their parents are well taken care of. But life also happens. And then the children also need to establish themselves. They need to also build for their future and future of their children. And so you don't want to be in a position where you're putting them under pressure. They should, and hopefully you have taught them well to be able to manage their affairs in such a way that they would also support you. But that should come as additional blessing, which really it is. So I'm just saying that every person needs to have a plan for where you're no longer professionally active. Now, so before I talk about the wealth building system, let me say one more thing about retirement, the mindset of retirement. In my own preference, if you were to ask me, I would actually say that you kill that mindset of retirement totally. Kill it totally. I was talking to a friend 2 days ago who retired 2 years ago. So he should be getting to 62, 63 this year. And this guy is already feeling so old. He's already feeling so old. So I literally had to start rebuking him, on phone. Don't think that, because there are people whose best lives happened in their 60s. Please type this in the comment section. I really want to pause. I want this to sink in. And those of you on Facebook, type it in the comment section. Those of you on Zoom, type it in the comment section. How did I put it? Let me see if I can say it back. But if you heard it, just put it that way. But I'm just saying that for many people, their best lives are in their 60s and in their 70s. Their best lives. And in fact, even the most productive, the most productive part of their lives are in their 60s and 70s. So my preference is to kill that mindset of retirement. Like, I don't have a mindset of retirement. There's nothing like retirement for me. That retirement was an arbitrary age set up. I don't remember the exact history, but somebody just sat down, I think in the 1800s, and decided retirement age was 60. And then as the story went, people weren't living up to that age at the time to start getting pension and things like that. So they thought they were being smart. But today, people live up to hundreds. I know people around me, my own personal mentors, are in their 90s. They are in their 90s. One turned 95 last October. This other one is 91. This other one is should be 93 this year. And the amazing thing is that the one that is 95 is still writing. By the time he was 90 years, he had written a book and published on Amazon at 90. Very active. So, and then somebody tells you, oh, retirement, 60 years. And then you shut down your spirit and shut down your soul. Why do that? Why let somebody else determine? And then I find it also very, 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 very difficult to understand, because in your 60s, you've accumulated so much wisdom over the years. So much wisdom over the years. I remember my journey, what I knew at 10 years and I experienced as a 10-year-old boy, going through secondary school as a teenager, meeting different people, reading different books, experimenting with different things in life, experimenting with faith, with spirituality. I remember as a teenager, I read the Quran. I read the Bible. I was asking myself, if I wasn't born in the part of the world I was born, would I be a follower of Christ? Suppose I was born in Libya, would I be, because I'm from Libya, maybe my name would be Mohammed ibn Mohammed or something like that. So I went through that as a young person, the experimenting spirituality, reading different things, engaging, and then most importantly, and applying and finding out what I've come to know today. It's not something I just woke up when I was 50 and determined that Christ was the only security for my eternity, for my eternal life. It wasn't just when I was 50 years old that I determined that life is not just physical like we think. And people think that, oh, when you die, it's all over. If people knew that there was eternity, many things they do today, they won't. The people you're cheating in your business, you won't. The adulteration that you're doing in your product, you will never do it. Imagine somebody just to make money adulterated a particular medication, a particular medicine. And then I don't remember how many, some of you may, if you are old enough, you remember that story. And then children, like a score or 20 or 30 children died. If I knew that there's eternity, that when I die, that's not the end of it, then I'm not going to be hooking up if I'm a girl, and I'm not going to be taking advantage of women for 2-minute pleasures. So you see, this is wisdom built over the years. I didn't just wake up and I'm like this. Now I hit 60 and then the world system tells me, retire. What? This is the time that the people need to hear. This is the time that younger people, the younger generation, need to tap from my wisdom, from my experience, from the things I've learned about life that took me 60 years. And then they say, go ahead and retire. So that retirement mindset is crazy, because I can't just keep this wisdom, keep my experience, keep the knowledge I've built over the years, the skills I've built over the years, and I'll just retire in the village and then tie a wrapper, carry newspaper, and be reading every morning, having chewing stick in my mouth, and then watching television, watching politicians. Horrible. God forbid. No, no, no. No, 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 no. In my 60s, in my 70s, I'll be traveling around the Caribbean, around African countries, around the Pacific countries. I'll be traveling to those places, speaking, engaging, helping, challenging people, challenging beliefs that are keeping Africans poor. I'll be doing that. I'll be engaging. You'll be reading the sort of things you read. You see me write on Facebook, challenging people every single day, challenging ideas, challenging mindsets that keep people poor. Can you imagine if I kept all this to myself? Because I'm 60. So I'm retired. So I'm just saying, if you can, and it's not by force, it's just what I encourage people. Don't think retirement. It's okay. Um, let you go in your office as a retired person, because that is the system. But in your mind and in your spirit, don't consider yourself retired. And that's one way to keep healthy as well. Because the moment you imbibe that retirement mindset, something starts happening in your health. Have you noticed that many times people are active, then when they retire, before you know it, there's this illness, and then they start medication. And for the rest of their lives, they're on medication. People who were really very active, all of a sudden, they are forcefully retired. Then they wake up one day and there's no place to go anymore. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. Having said that, it is still important for you to plan for your future, to plan your retirement. And I'm going to teach you this system, because whatever you are doing, if you turn it into a system, then you'll be certain that it will happen. Okay. Now, so the system is, it starts with learning. You do a lot of learning, because the foundation of success is learning. The foundation of success is knowledge. Because if you are not aware, if you don't grow in your conscious competence, in your conscious awareness, you cannot perform beyond what you know. You cannot perform beyond what you know. So, and I'm aware of my limitation, because I don't know everything. So people come to my comments, sometimes, and then the only reason sometimes I respond the way I do is that, let me illustrate it with a story. So there's a hotel in Lagos, in Victoria Island, that I used often, for my events, and then also in the course of my career with Stanford University. So this hotel has, I believe it is 21 or 23 stories. 21 or 23 stories. But every time that I use that hotel, the highest level I had ever used was the ninth floor. Ninth floor, or maybe 10th floor. So that was my comfort level. So for many years, every time I went to that hotel, ninth floor, 8th floor, 10th floor. So I now go to the hotel this particular time. And then when they checked me in and gave me my card to go up, I see 1705. That is 17th floor. So I immediately, because that is one thing that happens with us when we have our psychological set points that we don't even know. Psychological set points that sabotage our success, that sabotage our wealth building, that sabotage our business, that sabotage our investment. And they work unconsciously. So immediately I saw room 1705. My psychological set point set in immediately and rebelled. And I told the lady at the reception, I said, no, 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 no. Don't give me 17. Please put me on ninth floor or 10th floor and all that. I don't like 17th floor. And she said, Mr. Obo, it's okay. I can change it if that's what you want, but why don't you go to the room first? If you don't like it, just, come back down and I'll change your room. So reluctantly, we went, started climbing got into the elevator and the lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 17. Room 5. When I got to the 17th floor and I looked out at the panoramic view from the windows, what came out of my mouth was, wow. The view was beautiful. I was literally seeing all of Victoria Island plus the Atlantic Ocean. Very stunning view. Very stunning view, wider view. So all this while, I was operating from 7th floor, 8th floor, 9th floor. I didn't see this view. So many times, what happens, what I discovered was that if someone is on the 17th floor, on the 17th floor, you are seeing something totally different, completely different from what the person on the 5th floor is seeing. You are not seeing the same thing. So many times I discover that the arguments that some people come to place on my posts, it's not that they are wrong. They are not wrong, and I'm not wrong. We are just seeing different things. And so many times, some of you, who follow me, you will see that many times when I realize that that is what is going on, I'll just tell the person, okay, no vex, sir. How many of you have seen that no vex? Because it's pointless if you're on the 17th floor to be arguing with somebody on the 5th floor. It is impossible. They cannot see what you're seeing. So many times I say that, so I post something, a 59-year-old, and then a little boy of 21 comes and starts arguing. And then they are calling me, old generation, old whatever, your own generation is gone, and all that. Leave us, the young one. Let us find a way for ourselves. Very, very stupid comment. And then I was driven one day to ask people, who they try to use age to shame you. You are 40, you are 50. And then these little boys and girls, try to use age to shame you. Oh, you are talking about investment. It doesn't work in your generation. So one day I said to one of them, Apostle Paul will say, okay, you people, I know there's nothing to boast about, but because this is what you people care about, let me do a little boasting. So I said, don't compare your young life with my age at 59. Don't compare. So you're 24 or you are 30, and then you're comparing yourself with myself at 59. If you want to do that, you have to realize that by 30, I was married. And then also, not only that I've been married for 30 years. So before you even talk, open your mouth to talk to me, get married for 30 years. Is somebody getting what I'm saying? Get married for 30 years. Then you are 35 and you are throwing shades at me, age shades at me. By 35, I had worked, I was having the blast of my career. I worked with Shell, top employer. And then from Shell, I worked with Chevron. Chevron came, tripled what Shell was paying me, and I left Shell and went to Chevron. And then Shell came back, doubled what Chevron was paying me, and I left Chevron and went back to Shell. Hey, so before you throw shades, guy, don't look at yourself where I am now. Look at yourself, look at my 35-year-old and then your own 35 if you must compare. And not only that, I have taught in Lagos Business School. I have taught and teach in China Europe International Business School. And I have worked with Stanford University. This 59-year-old you're looking at. So before you come to run your mouth, you need to think and have wisdom. And now this is what I'm telling you. With all these things, they're telling me, go and retire. With all these things I've just told you, how can? Because there's a lot to share. Okay? Is somebody getting value from what I'm saying? Because we're talking about retirement. I'm just telling you, some people sometimes try to use age to shame you. Some of you here are probably in your 40s and your 50s and things like that, and you haven't seen success. So don't let the younger people, and then you younger people, don't do that. You're going to be 50 one day, you're going to be 60, and you're going to be shocked. And I hope that when you are 60, you will do the things I am doing at 60. Okay? So the first part in the wealth building system is learning. Learning, always coming with a learner's heart to learn, even from people you don't like. Read books, attend seminars. I have been announcing the Financial Fitness Challenge, where you can sit down and learn from somebody who has had this kind of journey. So learn, get mentorship, get coaching, get it early. You will save yourself. You're probably 25 or you're 34 right now. You will save yourself decades of heartache by paying for coaching and mentorship at 34. You can reach at 40 where you would never reach at 60 without mentorship, okay? Now, the other part of it is that you've got to earn money. And then what I really teach, like during the Financial Fitness Challenge, which is actually starting next week, I believe, we're going to take some time to talk about everyday money system, earning money every single day, every single day. Okay. Since August of last year, when my system kicked in, I've earned every day. And it's not about the amount, because it's little amount. There were days I earned 3,000, days I earned 9,500. Then there were days, I did hundreds of thousands on a single day. But the fact that it comes every day is just so powerful, because cash flow is far, far, far more powerful than just cash. So some of you get in 1 month, you are getting up to 90 debits. If you look at your financial statement, your bank statement, you have like 90 debits. Some people, good spenders, even have over 200 debits. And there's only one credit, which is your salary. That is terrible. So you can imagine a guy who is bleeding from different capillaries. He's bleeding every single day. Different parts of his body are bleeding. He's bleeding everywhere, because that's what debit is. Every time there's a debit, you're bleeding. You're bleeding, And then that bleeding is only once in the month that somebody now goes and ties bandage around the bleeding to stop the bleeding. And then immediately after the bandage is tied, and then maybe the person gets some blood transfusion, then the bleeding starts the next day again. That's what happens, when you're getting so many debits and getting only one credit. So your retirement wealth building system, now that you're in your 30s, in your 20s, in your 40s, must include a system to earn money every single day, okay? Or to earn more money more frequently. Now, the other part of the system, even me at 59, I save as often as possible. In fact, whatever comes in every single day, something must be saved. Now, the saving is not putting it in the bank and letting it lie idle. My saving is automatic. It goes straight into my investment account, which is the next part of the wealth building system. So I have stockbroking accounts, and it goes straight. A percentage of everything I earn goes straight. Sometimes it's 100%, because I look around me and then there's nothing. The only thing you see in my bank account is the amount of money for eating, buying food, paying for utilities in the house, maybe buying fuel and things like that. But everything else goes straight into investing. So you see where tonight's topic is fitting in. So we're not just talking about buying stocks for retirement. You can't buy stocks for retirement if you don't save money. If you consume everything you earn, you don't have a future. Type it in the comment section in Facebook. If you consume everything you earn, you do not have a future. Type it in the chat and also in the comment section. If you consume everything you earn, you do not have a future. So it is a matter of principles. A lot of people say, oh, my salary is small. Can't even meet all my needs. How much more to talk about saving? Then increase your earning. So you can save when you are not earning. And then if you are not earning, chances are that you are not learning. You're not learning the right things. It's not everything you want to learn about. Many of you have filled your head with very, very stupid knowledge that's not going anywhere. They ask you, if I ask you everything about the biography of Leonardo or Messi, you will tell me somebody here knows Messi's village, knows the name of Messi's mother, Messi's father, Messi's grandmother. They will give you all the statistics, the knowledge in their head. They will tell you Messi's wife, how they met, where they shop. They will tell you everything about all the clubs that Messi has played in. They will tell you everything about the goals, number of goals that Messi. They will be able to compare Messi and Leonardo. Is that what they call him? I'm not very good at these things, So they will compare, give you fantastic. Then you talk about Neymar Jr. They will tell you everything. But this is how useless knowledge. There's something called useless knowledge, because what are you doing with it? Just to boast in the beer parlor. And so, because when you are saying it, you sound very impressive about it, but then you leave that beer parlor hungry and broke. Why? Because you're not learning the right things. Okay? So, the retirement wealth-based system starts with learning. Then learning will almost, if you learn the right thing, like right now, I've been teaching you about investing. I've been teaching you about the stock markets. Some of you have helped you. You've now been able to open a stockbroking account for the first time in your life. Because there are some of you who are 45 and you do not have an investment account. Now you got it. Why? Because you learned it. You learned it. Now that learning, what you've learned, listening to me, watching all those videos, I have about 510 or 520 videos on YouTube teaching you like this for free. It's free to you, but it's not free to me because it's costing me. And so there's no way you learn the sort of things I'm teaching you and you will not earn. Therefore, there's a direct correlation between your learning and your earning. And if there's such a positive correlation between learning and earning, what should a wise person do? Learn more and practice more, okay? And then the last part of the process of the system is to monitor and adjust. Like I'm going to share a few stocks with you today, but you don't just buy the stocks and then not monitor them, because some of you bought some stocks like 15, 20 years ago in a company that doesn't exist today. And then you come and say, the stock market doesn't work. No, it's not that the stock market doesn't work. It's that you don't work. You don't work. If you invest in what you don't know, whether it is stock market or real estate or Bitcoins or whatever it is, you're going to lose that money. That's why learning is critical. Okay, so now let's start with something inspirational about Warren Buffett. But let me look at some of the comments I have on Facebook. Friday says, I'm 49 already. Is it not too late to invest in stocks? Absolutely not. Friday, no. I'm still investing myself at 59. And in fact, today I bought Aradel. That's a stock I'm going to encourage you people to buy and to watch. Some of you remember that I told you about Presco. I told you about Presco when it was like less than 500. I don't know how Presco closed today, but it's probably like 700 Naira now. Okay, because they have some very fantastic fundamentals, so much so that some of you who follow Ndubisi, Professor Ndubisi Kekwe, you saw what he posted If you saw it, just type I saw it in the comment or chat. He saw what he posted about Presco and Okomu oil and what he posted about palm oil. He said, in fact, that palm oil is the new Bitcoin, and he said that palm oil is the new gold. How many of you saw that? If you saw it, just type yes. He also posted it on Facebook. Okay. And I told you last year, buy Presco. And so some of us who bought are smiling right now. So Friday is not late at all. It's not. Michael says profitable knowledge. Yes, profitable knowledge and useless knowledge. Absolutely. Not every knowledge is profitable. Stop filling your brain cells with horrible things. Some people, if you open their brains, what you see is Davido, Cubana chief priest, Linda Ikeji's blog, useless celebrity gossip and things that, just busy commenting on other people's lives and not facing their own lives. You know everything about OBO, 001. You know everything about, what's this other one? Bonner Boy. You followed all their quarrels. You can repeat like everything Cubana chief priest says. What a useless way. Do you know that every minute you lose, every 1 hour you lose, you cannot recover it? Did you know that? And there are people spending 2 hours following Cubana chief priest versus Bonner Boy and P. Diddy. And wow, wow. Your generation indeed shocks me. It does shock me. So, but every single day, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are like the top 5 priorities, when it comes to my wealth building. Like everything I'm doing must relate to these things. And then if you are doing anything in your day and using your time in any way that it's not contributing to your learning, it's not contributing to your earning, it's not contributing to your saving, it's not contributing to investing, it's not contributing to your monitor, don't even bother going to prayer meeting or to see a prophet. You are going to struggle. You probably die poor. So many people dying in their 70s, they're still owing money. People dying in their 80s, poor, wretched. And there are people who are in their 60s. They don't have a house of their own. You're still renting at 60. And you think everything is okay. 70, you're still living in a rented house in Lagos. You don't have any in your village. You don't have any anywhere. That's not right. Okay? And then, but you're filling your head with all kinds of, very, very useless knowledge that is not contributing to anything. So very good. Okay. Nyeluma, okay, I don't understand that. Yeah, Michael says learn more and practice more. Okay. Rich Akinso says, what's the minimum amount one can invest? I have bought 700 naira worth of shares. I have bought 1,000 naira worth of shares. I've also bought 2 million worth of shares. I've bought 3 million worth of shares. I have bought 1,500 worth of shares. So Rich, the first thing is just open your stockbroking account. You can buy, once you open the stockbroking account, put money there. Whatever you have, you can buy. Yesterday, because there was a time I had a policy that I must invest every single day. But if I don't do it every day, at least once or twice in a week, I must invest. And it's by principle. So yesterday, I bought one stock of Aradel for, I believe it was 560 something naira or so. Today, I bought 3,000 of the same. So it doesn't matter. You can start with anything. Just open your stockbroking account. Yes. Okay. Stephen says he saw. Yeah. C. Henry also said you saw the article by Professor Ndubisi Kekoya. Finian says, is Presco stock still on sale? You may not be able to find, because yesterday it's like, there were almost like 4 million bids. That is 4 million people who wanted to buy, and then zero sales, zero ask. Nobody was selling. So I don't know if you can still find to buy now, but you can check. Michael says, how can I open a stock brokerage account? I have videos. I have videos on YouTube. If you just go, so if you haven't joined me on YouTube, please go and subscribe. Those videos are there. And then when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get it. So it's right there. Fausat. Oh, my friend Fausat. Yeah, just junk knowledge. Exactly. Asake. Okay. I don't know who is Asake. I'm not into these things. I just know even the ones I've told you, I've only said it because they show up in my they show up in my feed. So and I just look at it and I keep on telling Facebook, not interested, not interested, but they keep on bringing all this. That's how I even got to know about Cubana Chief Priest. I don't know who the hell the guy is. That's how I got to know about Bomber Boy or Bonner Boy. I don't know any of his music. I don't know Davido's music, not one, not one. So okay, now Chikadli said, please, which insurance stock is good to buy at this time? I bought ICO insurance last year, last December. And as of today, ICO insurance has done, I don't know how many percentage, but probably like 30% or something since then. Then AXA Mansard might also be a very good one. So I might think ICO and I might think AXA Mansard as good insurance stocks. Okay, so let's look at Zoom charts, if there are some comments or questions so far. Yes. Okay. Ngozi said, I just clocked 54. Hope it's not too late for me. Ngozi, no, please. When I see comments like this, to be honest, like right now, tears are coming to my eyes because people we have been lied to. We've been lied to. Ngozi, listen, at 54, you are most amazing. You are most amazing. The knowledge, the insights, the wisdom you've gathered over the years, the whatever. And then look at the mountains you've overcome, the valleys you have gone through. All these experiences have built you, have actually developed your mind a little bit more. So with some learning, just following the system that's on the whatever, because you can do amazing things. Many people started at 60. There are people, and then the famous story, many of you have heard about the guy, Colonel Sanders, who started Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, at, I believe it was 67 years or 69 years. And then today, KFC is in more than 100 countries around the world. Okay, please, don't this age thing, even if you can't be inspired by those people, be inspired by me. Because me, I'm like, I started all over. Now the children are out of school, just my wife and myself and things like that. And then I still have a great vision. I have a great vision to reach out to ACP countries, African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries. So I'm just starting. I am just starting, even at 59. It's not late, please. Don't say that. Okay? Don't say that. So even if you're 60 or 61 and then you're listening to this, I plead with you. Don't let people's whatever about age discourage you. All right. You're actually better. You're better, you're richer in spirit. You're better positioned to do, business or to do investment with a little bit of learning and coaching. You will be amazed that at 54, with a little bit of learning and coaching, that in the next 5 years, you can do what you were never able to do in 50 years. Write down this thing I'm telling you. You can, within a period of 5 years, achieve what you've never achieved in 50 years if you know what you are doing. Okay? So it's not too late. All right, so let's make progress. Now, Warren Buffett offers me a very, very important inspiration when it comes to what stocks should I buy and hold for retirement. because many of you know the difference between investing and trading. Trading is short term, okay, which I don't do much of. I hardly do it actually when it comes to stock investing. The closest thing I do to trading is balancing my portfolio. So I'm monitoring the fundamentals of the companies, and then sometimes I see bigger opportunities, and then I do like what I did today. I sold my UACN. So some of you remember that I had recommended UACN, and I bought UACN like 23 Naira, 20 something. And then today it was 35 Naira. So, I mean, if you bought something for 24 Naira, and then within 1 month, it goes to 35, you've done well. So I saw a bigger opportunity in Aradel. So I sold some part of the UACN and then bought Aradel. I'm also eyeing Cresco a little bit more, but that is after the dividends and they mark down the price. Cresco is one of the stocks, in fact, I'm going to recommend to buy and hold for a long term. I'll give you some more examples. But you see, I just put Warren Buffett's example here on the screen. Those of you on Facebook, you're not seeing the screen, but like I said, you always go back to YouTube to see it, because I really need you to see what I'm sharing. But what I will also do right now is copy the invite for some of you who joined late. And I'll copy the invite and paste on Facebook so that if you are able to join us, for those of you who just joined, if you're able to join us, you can do that. All right. Okay. So now Warren Buffett has he has stocks that he has held for 50 good years. So there's a lot to learn from the richest investor in the world as of today. If this man can buy and hold stocks for 50 years, some of you just have like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to retirement. So you can actually do the same. So our task tonight is to learn from him and to look out for what would be the characteristics of the stocks that I can buy now toward my retirement. So of course, if you're 54, like I said, your retirement is not necessarily 60. So the government can retire you at 60 or 65. But I think you should be looking at 90. You should be looking at 90 or 900, let's say 900 like Mutisela. You should be looking at 90 or 100 years. I would actually encourage everyone here, look at 100 years. Okay, let's do a quick exercise. Just to illustrate, I want to make sure I stress this point. So for those of you on Facebook and those of you here on Zoom, I want you to do 100 minus your current age and then type it in the comment section. Everyone, do 100 minus your current age. So if you are 40, then 100 minus 40, type 60. Everyone, do it quickly. Okay, so let me open the chart here. All right. Okay, fantastic. So I just want you to know. So those of you on Facebook, do the same thing. Do the same thing. Do 100 minus your current age. All right, so here on Zoom, this is amazing. This is a great exercise. I'm seeing 47, 60, wow, 60, 75, something. Ruben, 49, Ogenekwe, sorry if I murdered the name, 60, Stephen Idoko, 58, Ziwa is 69, God's will, 50, my. Guys, you already have what it takes. You see, because we are living longer right now, thanks to a lot of awareness in health, awareness in medicine, and awareness about diseases and how to, prevent them. People are living. In fact, my wife was just telling me about a family friend who literally people had given up. He was ill for protracted for a protracted time. He wasn't talking. He was, like in a coma or something like that. It was really very bad. Didn't know where he was. And then she just saw him a couple of days ago, and kinds of surgeries that they did in his body and all that. I believe it was in the UK. And then the guy is driving around, he's walking and all that. So somebody who would have probably died at 63, the guy is still going to be here till he's 90 years. All right. So just look at, even on Facebook, I'm seeing 67, 58, 70. Kelechi, you just told us 100 minus 28. You didn't give me the answer. All right. 62, 60, 59, 66, 50. This is amazing. So guys, this is timely. Okay, this is very, very timely. What we are talking about is very timely. So number one, follow that world building system. Then number two, our task right now is to identify if I'm going to invest in the financial market, especially in the stock market, what stocks do I buy? And then of course, why not? Because the financial market is where all the action really is. In my estimation, the financial market is like perhaps 90% of all the wealth in the world. Because when you hear about all these billionaires, Elon Musk is worth this, the NVIDIA guy, what's his name, is worth so much and all that. So all those are in the financial market, because you saw what happened when DeepSeek came. And then in one day, the NVIDIA guy lost, I forget how much it was, like 100 and something billion. And then the other people lost one. So it's financial markets. So it's important to think about that. And then the reason the stock market is good for you is that the stock market will always be here. So why even choose the stock market platform in the first instance? Because the thing is going to be here. It was here before you were born. I hope you know that. It's going to be here after you die. Because since the first stock market started like in the 1700s, the stock markets have been here. Even the Nigerian stock market, many of you weren't born by the time Nigeria fought the Civil War, which some have actually described as genocide because of how it happened, So it was for 3 years, between 1967 and 1970. There was war. They were throwing bombs all over the place. There was starvation. At the end of it, 3.5 million people from the eastern part of Nigeria were murdered, most of them children, and most of them through starvation. Egyptian pilots, French pilots were throwing bombs up and down. I remember I was a little boy at that time, and then they were carrying me. And then my younger brother, who was born in that 1967, just running from one place to the other, because they used to throw those bombs, even in marketplaces. It was horrible. It was carnage, so much death, blowing down bridges and all kinds of things. And then some of you heard about the Asaba massacre, and the people involved, are the people who are ruling us today. Now, Asaba massacre. Do you know, as all those things were going on, the Nigerian stock market was open every single day? This should blow your mind. Did you know that? That's a fun fact. The Nigerian stock market was open every single day of that war. Now, whether there is a world war or something, the stock market will be there. During the World War, Second World War, the stock markets were they were functioning. And then after that, people made money in the stock market. During the war, people were making money and all that. So it is an instrument that you can use to indeed plan your retirement, because it will always be there. And it doesn't matter if your stockbroker goes out of business, your stocks will still be there. Some of you, like me, your parents invested in the stock market in the 70s, in the 80s, and those stocks are still there. If the companies are still there, like my father invested in Asaba Aluminum, that company is no longer there, and I don't know what happened, but his name is still in the stock register. My father's name is still there. His unpaid dividends and his whatever, they mention his name. My father, my father died 2001, but his name is still there. Things he invested in 1970s. So this thing works. All right, we have a couple of minutes. It looks like we're going to continue this tomorrow, but let me just talk about, oh, this is the wrong one. Let me just talk about the inspiration that Warren Buffett's example means. And then tomorrow, we will continue with this topic to finish up on stocks that you can invest in. Okay, so these were some of the stocks, and then how long Warren Buffett has held that. And it's because he's held it for this long, a combination of things. They are excellent stocks, really, really good stocks. He has practiced what we call value investing. In other words, he finds stocks that, are underpriced, as it were, and he buys them and holds. So Berkshire Hathaway, he bought it since 1965. That is as long as I've been alive. Okay. And then he bought it as a textile company and now transformed it into his investment company. And I believe that a share in Berkshire Hathaway today would be one share would be over $600,000. One. So you see how over 58 years, you see why the man became a billionaire. He is not trading. He doesn't buy today and then watches it. It rises 5%, 10% today. Then he sells it today. No, he doesn't do that. He holds it. And so that's a very good investment philosophy for when you're thinking about your retirement. He also bought Washington Post 1973. Then he sold it to Jeff Bezos in 2013. But his investment in the broader company remains a classic example of this long-term approach. And then he's made so much money in Coca-Cola. Warren Buffett invested in Coca-Cola in 1988, and he still owns that today, 35 years today. He also invested in 1964, before many of you were born. He invested in American Express. Okay. And then up to today, American Express is still a core portfolio. Then again, he invested in Wells Fargo in 1989, 33 years. So the task we are going to be looking at tomorrow is, what are the shares that you can invest in today and hold it toward your retirement to be able to get the kind of benefits that Warren Buffett has gotten over the years. So I just thought that he was a very, very appropriate person to inspire us in the topic tonight, what stocks to buy and to hold. Okay, because it's not every stock that you buy and hold. What stocks to buy and to hold toward your retirement. When he bought Berkshire Hathaway, it definitely was not worth $600,000. Maybe it was a $5 thing. Maybe it was a $10. I don't know. I can research that a little bit more. But today, 600 and something is actually the holding company for all his other investments anyway. But he transformed it from a textile company to a holding company, investment holding company, that one share in that company is worth over $600,000. Can you imagine that? So that's going to be our task tomorrow. But before we round off, as usual, please go to the comment section and tell me what indeed was your aha moment today? Usually everybody does that. All right. So on Zoom, you can raise your hand if you prefer to speak, and then I'll recognize you. On Facebook, type it in the comment section. So I read a couple of them, and then we sign off for tonight and get ready for tomorrow. What's your aha moment today? What was your aha moment in today's session, everybody? And the reason this is important for you is that it actually helps you to cement the things that you have learned. It also helps you to review of all the things that you've learned today. What is one thing that stands out that you are going to implement? Because it is that implementation that will change your life, not just hearing the information. So the aha moment is a ritual, it's an important ritual to capture what was aha moment for you. Okay, so type in the comment section. All right, so let me start with Zoom. Steven says, telling us about your, okay, my real life investing strategy. Good, okay, yeah, it works. It works. I'm 59 and I'm still investing because I figured that if I'm still going to be here in the next 40 years, I don't want stories. I don't want stories. Oh, I didn't know I'll be here till 100. Okay. So I plan and I live as if I'm going tomorrow, but I also have a plan as if I'm going to be here in another 50 years. Okay. Okay. Nama says, I sent you a message on WhatsApp concerning a transfer made yesterday night, but you haven't responded. Message on WhatsApp. Okay. All right. Resend it. Resend it after this. I do get too many messages and okay, telling us about your real life investing, then it's never too late to start investing because it says knowing that it's never too late to invest. Okay, that's your aha moment. Gospel says if you consume everything you earn, you do not have a future. Absolutely. Zuka says letting us know it's not too late to invest. Absolutely. Never thought it is. But hearing it from a person like you makes a whole lot of difference. Absolutely. Okay, so let me read a few from Facebook. Okay, Innocent says buying shares one can hold for life. Hello, Chika. It's wonderful having you here. Chika and I have come a long way since secondary school in the 1980s. Okay. Fausa says my aha moment is if you consume everything you earn, you don't have a future. Helen Rotimi says we should forget about retirement and keep investing. I like that. I like that. Don't think retirement. Cancel it from your mindset. Friday said, my aha moment is that there is hope for me to invest in stock market, even at 49. Absolutely. Okay. Gideon says, my aha moment was knowing that I can get Aradel since I missed Presco. Yes, you can. You can. I looked at Aradel's result when they declare their corporate action. I don't think you can get it. You will not get Aradel at the current price. That's a good one. Finian says, kill the retirement mindset in you. Absolutely. Okay. And then Tekimbi says, no amount is too small and there is no age limit to start investing in the financial market. Fantastic. So I'm glad that this aha moment, came out very, very strongly for you. Okay. So same time, same Zoom link tomorrow. We are going to continue tomorrow and talk about like specific stocks, that we can invest in and then hold for the long term. And so I'm going to be signing off, and whatever happens, ladies and gentlemen, keep showing up because you have no idea what's coming your way next. Don't be discouraged. Don't let anybody, and don't let people's opinion of you or whatever you think people will think about you, don't let it hold you back. Just unfold who God has made you, unfold your identity in Him, and flourish. God loves you. He loves you. He doesn't condemn you, and He wants the best for you. He wants you to grow. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody put you down. And then I'm going to see you at exactly this same time tomorrow. Good night, everyone.